Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali, I really did want to just do a regular share and edit it all together and upload it like I usually do. But for some reason, my screen capture video, whatever the heck, is not working, and I don't begin to understand how to make it work. So let me present my screen and just quickly give my let's see now. Oh, yeah, allow. Oh, wait, I gotta allow the entire screen. There we go. And allow, and there it is. Okay. I don't expect anybody to really come on in and watch this because you're gonna be like, who is this dude? Apparently he had a let's see now. Do I still Oh yeah, there it is right there. Oh, peace, Sister Jai Africa. It's good to see you, Queen. Um, he had this channel here, TwoMad. And oops, let's stop that right there. Um, and he was a black man. Now, I found out about him because I was every day I go and I find out who has encountered, run into, or been run over by an early demise. It's a regular feature of humanity that we do pass away. And I'm never happy to see that people die, especially when they die at an age that they shouldn't. And this young man, it was only 23 years old. Now, I don't care if they're trying to make it seem as if it's natural for young people to die. Uh, I n- I know it's not. Most of us do know it's not, but they're hounding us with so many ridiculous distractions that oftentimes the price of those paying attention or taking Western civilization seriously is that you give them authority over what can be touted as acceptable. And thereby, if their doctors are out there saying, oh, well, they just suddenly died in their sleep and it was perfectly, no reason to have any questions. Let's move on here. And they've done that to several of our young Black people. I can't remember the brother's name, but who was found in a gym mat. And because of his parents looking up and getting actually digging him up from the grave and getting another autopsy, they found out that he had no organs in his body whatsoever. There's all sorts of stuff that goes on, so that they make it seem as if, oh, it's just business as usual, when that is not at all the case. But these folks back in Europe days, back in the what they call the dark ages, I just think that they've made everybody accept the dark ages. um they used to go through the bubonic plague. There were mass outbreaks like there are right now, syphilis and smallpox, and this was among the royals, who they were dropping dead on the regular. And so they're just finding ways, because people started accessing better nutrition, and that is what brought down the rates of contagious infections, not their much touted injectables. And that doesn't go along with the graphs that clearly outline the rate of death from things like, there's no injectable for scarlet fever, but you don't hear about anybody having scarlet fever anymore. If that were not attributable to better nutrition and better distribution of nutrition, then scarlet fever would still be raging, because there's no vaccine developed for it, right? But what they're managing with the GMOs, which were proposed by Fritz T. Meyer, who had been one of the heads of Auschwitz, and he saw by the utilization of certain things like fluoride, they could make the prisoners more docile. And he was put in prison after Nuremberg trials, but he got out real quick, real quick. and made a beeline to Canada and implemented through the UN something called Codex Alimentaris, I think was the end of the name of this program, where he proposed it was through the food that they could enact an overall large scale genocide. And all of these different people, I think of Gunter Myrdal, who I'm quite sure he was hired by the US government to investigate what he termed in his book, The Problem of the American Negro, I do believe was the title of his book. But he did a survey and found out that white folks just, if they could get rid of us without feeling too guilty, that would be fine. So I think all of these things kind of were a confluence that when they figured out how to make radiation, uranium, reach a level of criticality, and they could then just get about a quiet genocide of Black you and me. And there's a lot of power in just one single voice. I don't want to be the one single voice. And it's because I'm not. It's because I bring the data that I think you, in your own ways, have been sharing the data that I put out there. And that has given the elites who even want to kill white people, if they to kill us, they will kill whomever gets in the way. All right. And so all of that working together has stymied and not just me revealing about radiation, but the fact that people don't want to die. I think even the agents and the operatives who signed up, they did sign up with absolute and total ignorance, with absolute total brainwash mindsets about what's important in life. So they actually think that having a big old fancy mansion is going to protect them somehow from a radioactive planet. No, in the Bible, it says ain't going to be no place you could hide. All right. And that's just a fact. But this young man died from an OD. But why I'm saying that he, for me, I don't know. I read up on him. I'm more here to first offer my condolences. I'm sorry that he passed. I am in no way gloating. Things are getting way too serious to be ignoring what the Most High warned. Put on the armor of God and don't gloat. Do not enact vengeance like you are the Most High, because he's the only one who knows all the details. Not a single one of us know enough about what's going on behind the scenes to then take it upon ourselves to harm anybody. And everybody is sacred, unless you're the devil. But we don't know. We don't know if you are, okay? So in that case, I wish nobody any harm. I look forward, if it were possible, that's going to be up to the one and only. I look forward to a planet filled with diversity, but sustainable diversity, not this thing where we're all just blending in together as one. And so when I look at TwoMad, it makes me think that he was mad at the wrong stuff. Right now, I'm not saying that his pen name, TwoMad, is actually, what he went by or meant it to be about being angry. All right. His given name was Mudia Sedek. And I get the impression he lived in Canada. And looking at, let me go on over to all the various pictures that I just, screen captured of him. And he just recently lost a lot of weight. Good for him. I know that was difficult, but I think he lost it by just being using drugs. But maybe he didn't. That's what I'm saying is he was thoroughly beguiled and caught up in the whole kumbaya fantasy to the eradication, or not even eradication, but the his ability in everything I see that he's posted, his ability to see himself as having graduated from being black. Not that he wasn't an active hater. You know, he wasn't active. I'm going to come back and just explain why I can't stand white society. But I'm talking about him as a warning over this mindset where he was genuinely intelligent, very, very creative in his presentations. He has that new youthful kind of sense of humor that I don't get, where it's really kind of just speaking nonsense on the constant and just being goofy and thinking that that's going to be enough. The problem is that because he was an integrationist, when you are black and you're an integrationist to the point where I didn't see almost any black people that he highlighted in his the various channels I went to look at to see what he was posting. But on YouTube he had 2 million, I think 2 million subscribers, and everybody commenting. I went through his IG account and over on Facebook, and most of the people commenting were white people. And he was having a good old goofy time with them in so many ways. This is sort of like the mindset that you'll just I'm not saying everybody who is integrated with white people is going to be like this, but I'm just saying I want to put out there how the closer you are in, you know, denying the real dynamics of life with them in charge of our perception of ourselves, the less you are capable of understanding what is really going to hurt you. Because, you know, I saw comments from people who were also questioning whether or not he accidentally died from an overdose. That's something that, as I said, about there was one model who wanted to get out of her lease because there were two other models who had been murdered. And that landlord wouldn't let her out of the lease. And I've advised it many times. When you are up there in integration land, we can't help you. We cannot help you. Okay. Now, I don't believe that this here is a real photo. I think that he photoshopped it together. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I don't believe that he had a girlfriend, even though every time he showed a picture, unless it was kind of like homosexual friendly. I'm not saying that that's what he was. But if he wasn't mentioning that, then the only kind of, hints at physicality were with these like super Beckys. And I'm just saying it. Oh, well, I didn't know I had ended there. These were kind of like different pictures that don't matter right now. But I'm saying that as a gamer, that incel mindset can be quite a wake up call as to what reality is. Because I'm wondering what would lead a young man at 23. I know everybody, especially in that age group, is going to be like, drugs are just part of living. You're supposed to get high. But in this particular day and age where everything seems to be laced with fentanyl, there's just way too many people dropping dead from accidental fentanyl overdoses. I'm just thinking there's a corruption going on in what you should be mad about, what you should be working on strenuously. And the incel, the gamer type of mentality is vastly corrupted and infiltrated, where you are literally sitting inside working tirelessly at endeavors that leave you highly isolated and, just spending maximum amounts of your youth perfecting your gaming skills. And so he had a successful platform. I'm sure it was monetized because I didn't get the impression in anything that I looked at that he was speaking on anything that was relevant, or critical to empowering his own life. And that's that mindset where they're just kind of flying through the wind and they're not really even there. And it makes me think of the you cannot just divorce yourself from, especially as a young man, you cannot divorce yourself from your purpose that has been given to you by Allah in order to justify being on this planet. I'm speaking on that to be encouraging because you, black man, are meant to be a warrior king. You are meant to rule, not everybody else out there, but your destiny. And that means feeling the empowerment that comes from knowing saving your people is saving yourself. This whole thing where, I mean, they just so joke relentlessly, obsessively about nothing. Everything is a non sequitur. Everything is just like, did you, what you just said, make any sense whatsoever? It's like a race to make less and less sense. That goes against what the Most High put you here for. So when I think about a child who's being raised in a household where you could have the option of a good parent or a bad parent, there's no in between as to how deleteriously impacted that child is going to be. If a child is neglected, oftentimes the choice they make is destructive behavior because no matter what, they're going to get your attention, even if it results in them being beat, cussed out, and called all kinds of different names, but the name you gave them at birth, they're going to do something to get your attention because you want to know you exist. All persons want to know you exist. But with the devil in charge of our perception of what it is to be black, we've got way too many of us out there willing to think erasure of your purpose as demanded by the one and only himself is somehow possible. And no, it's not. It never will be. You can never, ever exit what some call Blackistan. When sometimes maybe people like get sick of hearing me say, I love Black Hue, but I never get sick of it because I have worked vigorously for 60 years of my life. From the moment I was born, I've been working on understanding what the heck am I doing here? And in that journey, I've realized the one and only is the only perfection possible. And he left clear instructions on who his chosen people are. Why, if we are such screw ups, would he choose us? He's perfect. He ain't dumb. He knows what we're capable of. So, with that understanding, I thereby approach every single hurdle that has been stuffed into our psyches. So we start to think it's the real us. I look at each one and I say, you know what? There's a reason for this. There's a history to this. There's a route out of hell. So we leave this, which makes us think that we're the worst people on earth, far behind, far behind. And when I entered that mindset, it was, I mean, the facts, the data, the proof was everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. I could never be blind again. Never, ever, ever. That's why I say I do not get when people say, "Why? Oh my goodness, some black people so embarrassing." Ain't nothing embarrassing about us. You can't get more embarrassing than being the devil himself, thinking you somehow are gonna outbest the best of everything. The one and the only, the alpha and the omega ain't never gonna happen. You dudes are a screaming joke. Okay? So when you enter that mindset that somehow you graduated from blackness, and I'm not saying, as I said, I think he was from what I see, he looked like he was a kind and loving human being, but just a result of the relentless brainwashing that says just simply being black somehow or another, that's the worst thing you could be. So you got to just erase yourself completely so that you could find happiness somehow. When you need to get high, it's obvious you're not happy. You're not happy because otherwise you would really be satisfied with just being sober. Every minute of the day, you wouldn't be able to wait to get up to get back to your sober life. You wouldn't be getting high, so you would put yourself directly in the devil's gun sight. That's why it's put on the armor of God. Hey? Because that's how he's getting folks nowadays. If you aren't on that very fine, narrow, upward path so you can discover your magnificence, you're in danger. You're in vast danger. And as I say, I don't wish anybody any harm. I acknowledge, I salute good white people out there. We're just not the same people. This integration is getting you killed too. I'm just saying, you ain't good for us. When we start talking about separation, them dudes freak the heck out. And then they start planning and plotting in mass against us. So that could have been also a reason for this young brother to be gone at 23. Notice I ain't mentioning the radiation because I believe, okay, yeah, he OD'd. Not everything is the radiation, but they don't have to ritually murder so many of us because they can't. They can't. If you understood how tough it was to put all the Jewish people in the ovens, I can only say so much on that score, right? You would know that you have to be plowing tens of thousands of people per day into them ovens to duplicate that amount of carnage. And that supposedly took place over like half a decade. So when people say, oh, it's a ritual murder, this is how they're killing us, they don't have to. It's on your plate, it's in your food with the radiation. When you look at the numbers of people clocking out from all the things that radiation causes, the numbers are through the roof. Ain't no police department gonna gun us down at the rate of cancer, heart attacks, sudden deaths, diabetes. There are reports of children with Alzheimer's. You know, Dr. Sternglass in his book, Secret Fallout, was talking about how radiation lowers IQ. And he brought the stats, so that every district with a nuclear power plant, even the ones that claim they work well, had the lowest IQ scores for all their school districts. And then the regions that didn't have nuclear power plants nearby, they had the best. So when you see stories out there, children getting Alzheimer's, I'm like, yeah, that's what that other jabberoonie thingy gingy, that whole thing was to trick us into not paying attention to what's on our plates and in our food. But that for some reason, they never mention that. Got hella weird starlets walking around butt naked. It got what? What would Taylor Swift care about free Kanye? And they got Kanye out his damn mind with his new owner walking around butt naked. Why they got all this stuff going on? That makes none of it makes any sense. Biden is a friggin' doddering old senile dementia fool. What? And they can't say, well, you know what? He is not equipped for the job. We have to remove him. No, they need him. They need him to be as insane as possible. Then they got Trump, another insane dude, as the alternative. And now they're going to enter Michelle Obama, who was congratulating a mentally destroyed little boy for being a strong young lady. They're going to put her up there so that they could just put all of us in that woke prison, in that woke gas chamber. Okay? Making it seem like, well, what's his name? Lloyd Austin now? He's supposed to have headed some secret CIA school. And they had, was it 70,000 children that they were brainwashing to think that, they could be any gender. Ask the female athletes about that one. But at the same time, what they have, like, I don't know, 80,000 Boy Scouts who were raped? And you hear almost neither hide nor tail about that. That one they pulled from the headlines as fast as they could because that went right back to them. And they want it all to go back to us. So I'm just saying right now, you seeing 1 millionaire, the planes, they're really falling. It's the plane, boss, it's the plane. All of them coming down out of the sky and then jumping out of windows like with Russia when the whole scandalous thing started out in Russia. All these doctors suddenly got felled out of windows. Now in New York City, you got all these millionaires, a place where they were like, have the statue in Jersey City pointing right at New York with the big hush, little young girl with an old man's hand in front of her lips, big statue. And now you got these millionaires being pushed out of windows. I'm telling you, there's agents and operatives, rich ones, rich white ones, who are saying, wait a minute. I don't know if they listen to my stuff. I really don't give a damn. I'm not here for them. Okay? But I'm just saying, look at what they're putting in front of all of us, trying to act like we're the weirdos, or this is all coming from Black us. Okay? If you're around these people, you need to leave. You need to just go. Okay? This TwoMad official N-word pass. He doesn't actually mean N-word. It's the name of a game or something like that. But he would make these jokes at his Black expense. And with his name, I don't know if his parents, because he didn't have an accent. He didn't have a African or accent that I could detect at all. But maybe his parents were immigrants over here. And so Africans, I love you. I really do. But you are clueless. And not all of you started out that way. There's been a huge censorship campaign going on in Africa where they started setting up disinformation bureaus out there in order to cut off those of you who were saying publicly, yo, something's wrong. Salute to you in the Congo and salute to you in Uganda too, if you happen to hear any of this. Right? I'm just saying that you got this dream world fantasy about these Western folks. Same the Asian people. Man, you ain't never seen Procyon loaders come in every color. And the Asians are the biggest Procyon loaders out there. Oh my God. That's because they're white too, pretty much. But they're like all into the skin whitening and all that other stuff that'll just like that. Mercury will just fry your brain, or hydroquinone. That stuff will just really disrupt any electrical conductivity because that's the melanin. All right. All right. So that's all I wanted to say. Let me get on out of here. I was going to do a share on Friday, but now I'll just, now I'll just do this and keep writing because I've been writing. And it's just, oh, I love it. It's coming out so well. So, oh, thank you, family. Thank you so much, Sister Jai Africa, Brother Daniel Campbell, Brother Herman Breckeridge, and beloved brother Ali Hammett. I spoke to Dr. Shi, and he says, you guys, you could just like email each other and conversate that way. That's real helpful. So we could get everything cleared up because we ready to do what it needs to be done. Okay, brothers? So definitely just contact us. All right, let me get out of here since this is 30 minutes, and that's real good to end it right there. I love you. Go get your clean on with my holistic soaps on 25,000yearcycle.org. I have 4 more full jar samples to give as gifts. Not samples, they're not samples because samples are much tinier, but it's a full jar that is a $25 value that I just packed up for a wonderful sister. Thank you for your order. You are just so supportive all the way through. And so I'm sending you free silk hair along with your soap order. And I have 4 more slots to fill through. So go on over to 25,000 Year Cycle. You'll get amazing soap. I mean, that's why I keep offering what I make here for us because it's so good. I realized when I stopped making soap and the other things the last time, I was like, but I'm still going to make it because I can't find anything better than what I make. And so I was like, well, then I might as well sell it, even if it takes people a while. I realized sooner or later, people are just going to be like, oh my God. It's not just that she and Dr. She come and give us the 100% truth. Their products are outstanding. And so I'm not really concerned about long-term success. It's just that if we can make it shorter, then you are listening to a sister who's going to test your food for radiation. When I get that capital, ain't nobody else out there that I've heard even hint the same when they should be. Right? There are people out there like, what's it with Natural News? Mike Adams. I'm like, why? He's got a whole lab. How come he hasn't announced the exact radiological levels in every single food group? So we could all just sit back and say, okay, this has got that, that's got that. And then we could also test which protocols work 100%. I put all that information in my book, Furnace of Affliction, Healing Radiation Damage to the Human Body, because I kept finding the data, the truth that they hide. You can get radiation out of your body. Please stop thinking that I'm some fearmonger and I'm trying to take advantage of you, terrifying you. No, I'm not. I'm trying to let you celebrate and say, hot diggity dang. You mean to tell me that the white man don't control nothing up in here? No, he does not. No, he does not. So go to our website, 25,000yearcycle.org. Oh, dear Sister Gwen B. Good to see you, Queen. Yes, exactly, right there. And support us in our determination to support you. All right? As I said, I thought long and deeply about why you are amazing. For me not to support you, that would make me one of the stupid people. And I ain't in the mood for that. All right. I'm done with stupid. Okay. That's it. I said all I need to say. Mwah! I love you. And everybody have a fabulous week. Hopefully, I won't be back until Friday. Okay. Okay. Next Friday. I mean, not this Friday. Peace and blessings. Straight black pride. So we own forever.